it's never too late to start was, what will make me happier? What will make me feel more fulfilled? Children all put their parents on a pedestal, 375 plus. So every product will have a customer.
Honing this beautiful young generation and also giving tips for marketing and CSR and sustainability. Today, we have a very inspiring guest with us. She has around 17 years of experience in marketing, CSR and sustainability. But the best part is that she's on a mission to bridge the gap between education and real life. It's a pleasure to invite Charlotte D'Souza, who's the co-founder of B.L.A.H. Yes, you guessed it right. It's B.L.A.H. 3 times BLA. We'll hear from her what does the meaning of BLA and how she started and what's her journey. Welcome to another enlightening episode of the Reengineered Podcast Season 2. Welcome, Charlotte, to the show.
Thank you so much. So you want to know how I started? So 17 years in marketing and communications, like you said, globally, heading positions globally, made me realize that there was a lack of EQ, or the emotional intelligence in the corporate world. We're all in a rat race to compete, to succeed, climbing up some ladders, trampling some people on the way sometimes. But we are meant to be human, right? And that kind of takes a back seat. We are almost crushing our EQs while fueling our IQs. And I felt that that was so important to be taught or facilitated to children. So when I took a sabbatical in 2020, I did a course called SOUL, School of Understanding Life, which was life skills for adults with a sports scientist. And while I did that, a thought came up in mind that why are we only repairing broken adults? Why aren't we helping children grow into emotional, intelligent adults and who can bring a change in this world?
Building them from...
Yes, building them, shaping them, forming them and creating them into beautiful pots, you know. And that was the rise of, or the inception of B.L.A.H, which is with one of my oldest friend, who was also a specialist in speech and drama. And we said that, let's make this interesting. So we took life skills, which are endorsed by UN, UNICEF, WHO, and we created our curriculum around it, and that created B.L.A.H, which is Building Life's Attainable Habits.
Amazing. Building Life's Attainable Habits.
Yes.
And why 3 times BLA? Why not 4 times?
I think B.L.A.H is a word so many of us use, young, old, whatever.
Yeah, we love using that.
Absolutely. We keep saying, you know, that person went on and blah. So it's a natural thing to come as B.L.A.H. And we said, let's go with a word which everybody identifies with. Let's develop and flesh it out and develop an acronym around it. But let's go with something which everyone resonates with. So
and
that's why.
Very interesting. And that's how you came up with B.L.A.H.
That is
And
correct.
did you test it with your kids or your neighbor kids or your family and friends?
I absolutely did. In fact, when we came up with the name, the first thing that a lot of humans do is that right? Will it sound too... How will I go into the corporate
Very
world
casual,
and even say it?
yeah.
Will it sound too casual? Will people take us for granted? But there's one thing that my mom always said, that don't follow the crowd. Create your own.
Don't follow the rat race, as you mentioned.
Don't follow the rat race. Don't follow the crowd. If I ever did something which somebody else did, she always said, give me a reason why you are doing it. So it's great to walk the path less traveled because there's less traffic there, you know.
Yes.
So that's
and
the
be
reason.
unique, create your own niche.
Absolutely. And the logo of B.L.A.H, whatever says, why fit in when you are born to stand out? So.
Amazing. And that says it all, right? And when you started B.L.A.H and how many kids you have right now?
Oh, so we started late 2021, almost in the beginning of 2022. So it's been a little over 2 years now. We started with just testing it out, like you said. We knew this was a concept. We believed in it. And we started taking some 5 or 6 children. As of today, we've done about 140 workshops with children from 13 countries, over 375 students. And we're still having more because we're going to have our summer camps now. So.
What an achievement. 13 countries you are globally doing this workshop. And all of them, how you introduce your students? Good morning, or you say hello, blah, blah, blah?
We say good morning, we say hi champs, we call them our champs.
Okay.
They're not called as students. We don't call ourselves teachers, we call ourselves facilitators because we're facilitating them. And we say that to them, that just like you're here to learn something, we are here to learn a lot more from you.
Okay.
So, but we end every time, we end with blah, 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 blah. So it's always ending on the high note.
Nice. And saying that, how interesting or how challenging was that for you when you re-engineered your career from such a settled life, like, 17 years, vice president of marketing, strategy, CSR, sustainability, and one day, that was in 2020, right? You decided to know it's the time.
Absolutely. Let me tell you a little bit about that 2020 before I go in. So the bank I was working with, this was not a choice, but I think this kind of chose me.
Okay.
So in 2020, where I was working, 95% of us were let go because of a takeover by another bank. Okay, and it wasn't taken too well in the beginning. I was like, this is my first redundancy, so to say.
Yeah, and you're so passionate about your job.
Passionate. And I started, okay, fine, it's okay, it's happened. We've got to learn from that and move on. So that's been my demeanor always. So I said, okay, fine, let's move on. Let's find my next role in marketing. That's when Soul came up. But while I did that, and I felt so passionate about it, I was also giving interviews. I did get a job in one of the, I won't take the name, one of the topmost FMCG companies in the country.
Nice.
In a senior position. But by then I was developing my curriculum around blah, blah, blah. And the first day that I did the first batch was when I got my offer letter. And I turned it down. And a number of people, close people, felt something's terribly wrong with you to do this. But I can't even explain it. Sometimes when you're passionate about it, and for me, this was my ikigai.
And you found your why and your true calling.
It was my reason for waking up every morning. It was something that I wanted to create. I felt so passionately. I know that if I create this legacy, it'll be a ripple effect and it'll keep growing. And I just stood on this journey. And my co-founder, Sarah, was equally passionate with me. And we said, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen organically. Very difficult. Of course, like you said, from a settled job, there were financial commitments. And of course, things would take a pinch. I'm fortunate to have a family who stood by me. The rest of the family who did not also was actually had my best interest in mind. They felt you're doing well. Do you think you're doing right? But today, everybody's such a supporter. I'm
proud of you.
Back. Extremely proud of me. They've always been my supporters. There was a time where they felt I was doing something wrong and being silly. And there's somebody and they said, are you really serious about this? And I keep saying I always was. I always was serious about it. But today, I've got a village and a community with me, so I feel so happy.
I see the twinkle in your eyes and the smile that you carry on, but I'd like to ask you, what was that one question that you asked to yourself that time in the crossroad when you chose blah, 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 or your entrepreneurial journey over your much lucrative job offer that you turned down?
I just thought for a minute. I actually went into my room and I did ask myself lots of questions, to be honest. But one of them was, what will make me happier? What will make me feel more fulfilled? And it was right there. I even remember, I'm actually getting goosebumps, but I remember telling my husband, my husband tried to be logical at that point and said that one is a bigger brand. And I remember questioning him at that point, might sound very silly, but don't you think blah, blah, blah can be a bigger brand than that? And he's like,
you had that conviction.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not sure. And I said, I am. So yes, it made me, I just figured out my why, like you said, the reason to wake up, my ikigai, what would make me more fulfilled, what would make me more happy.
And this is what, that one step that led to you to happiness and make a difference.
Absolutely.
Saying that lovely journey, and I think I got goosebumps by listening when you turned down a very lucrative corporate offer. We know what we are letting go. The big package, the bonuses and everything, right? And it really takes a toll on us financially, but ultimately what matters is happiness.
Absolutely. And everything follows. When you're doing it for a purpose, the money, the fame, whatever it is, it follows.
Yeah, it
but
takes
the
time.
Purpose
Yeah.
is not you're just changing your purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the...
And kudos to taking that step, and that's how we are so proud talking to you today. And my leading question would be like life skills. We are very, very profound and overwhelmed as a parent, myself, like we we hear about life skills a lot. But why do you think life skills are so important these days? And if it is so important, why schools are not making it part of a curriculum?
Right, interesting. And these are the questions which I've asked myself also. So basically, life skills are not important only today. Life skills have always been important. Ask any adult out there and tell them that schools did take care of your IQ, even me, took care of your studies, everything. When you went out into the real world, be it the corporate world, be it whichever world you're in, be it hospitals or wherever, we always know that 80% is dependent on your EQ, the emotional quotient, and just 20% on your IQ. Like 25 years ago, somebody asked me for my mark sheet. It's looking amazingly well laminated. It's still sitting there.
Okay.
Nobody's asked for it after that. It has been how I've gone through my corporate world, how I have taken decisions, how I have presented myself, have I been empathetic to my team,
how you have taken risks.
Absolutely, have I taken risks, how have I solved problems. All this is so essential, and hence I always felt that, you know what, schools should take it up, and of course a lot of schools are taking it up now. But having said that, the second part of the question is I would answer it a bit differently. Instead of saying why are schools not doing it, I would say till schools do it, I've taken it up. So that's how I look at any problem. And that's what I tell my champs or my students, that there are so many things you would feel the world isn't doing, but I want to know what are you doing about it.
And taking the first step.
Absolutely. I mean, we would say sustainability. Let's pick that. Oh, sustainability should be taken care of by the government, should be taken care of by the UN, by the policymakers. But what are you doing? Are you being sustainable every day? And that's what I tell my champs. Begin with you. You will create a ripple effect. Every drop makes up an ocean, right?
Correct.
So let's say that schools will do it. They have started doing it. Everybody's answerable to their own. But like you say, when you point one finger at others, three fingers point right back at you.
Correct.
So let's look at those three fingers at you. Let's see what you're doing. And that's what.
And in the beginning, you rightly mentioned that how you introduce, like, we are the facilitators. And I think you are being facilitating by bridging the gap.
Yes.
Till the time schools and education institute reach out there, you will be always helping them to.
Absolutely. In fact, now I've been invited by schools to come and do these sessions.
Yeah.
So great. So everybody's realizing the importance of it. It'll just take them a little bit of time.
And you are doing this life skill sessions for age group of 7 to 17.
That is
right?
correct.
Why not from 5 to 17? Why not from 4 to 17? Why 7 to 17?
Okay. Right from the age of, so I worked with psychologists and psychiatrists on this while we were developing our curriculum around it. When you're at the age of 4, 5, even 6, like some 6-year-olds do have the demeanor of a 7, but otherwise 4, 5, 6, you have life skills quite intact in you. You're not inhibited. You are very expressive. Your thinking skills or the emotional skills or social skills, like we say, are quite active. There are very few who are a little quieter. The percentage is much lesser.
Okay.
So 90 to 95% have them intact and are quite vibrant about it. When you come to 7 is when you start getting a little bit onto the what will somebody else say. Other than that, at the age of 7, you are more primed for learning something.
Okay.
Right?
So you're open to learning.
Till the age of 6, you take it through your subconscious. You see it, you take it in. At 7, you get more active as a learner. You are more primed for learning something to do with your mind, to do with why are you doing it, etc., etc. And that is why we say till 6, let them enjoy, let them have fun. At 7, we can see them.
Great. And what about after 17?
Oh yes, after 17 is something that definitely. Now the thing is, I'll tell you what. Come 18 and upwards, while people are getting into internships, like now people are getting into internships right from 13, 14, 15. But otherwise, 18 and upwards, normally people will start getting into internships, start getting into the corporate world. Wherein I say that even in my case, I had that rude shock, wherein I was in school, in my own bubble.
And suddenly jumping into the
Yes,
corporate
when I went to
world
do my
in the
MBA,
ocean.
I thought I'm going to like change the world. I'm going to do this. And when I stepped into that ocean, like you said, full of sharks and I don't know who, you're like, I mean, is this the real world?
Yeah.
Was I in a different bubble which has just burst?
Which was so ideal and not actually related to the corporate world at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's when you get a rude shock when you grow up. Why I created this was there was nothing in this space.
Transition.
Like, yes. There was nothing from 7 to 17 where you were being prepared for the real world. At the age of 18, you are anyways pushed into the real world and whatever you've learned, you're made to unlearn.
Yeah.
But from 7 to 17, that's the reason I picked this age group.
Amazing. And saying that, any significant or very prominent story or of a student or group of students whom actually you have seen the impact and feel very proud of it?
Oh, I love this question. Yes. And many, many, many stories. Let me pick a few. There's one that starkly comes. There's a child, and without taking any names or any country that they're from, there's a child who stammered terribly when she came to our workshop. She did not even show her face. She only showed her face till here. And today, she doesn't stammer at all. She is an author. A child author. She was already an author. The author is not something that I got out. She had it, but she's published it out.
Okay.
She has gone up on stage. She speaks at events. She's been with us for right from the time we began, almost 2 years.
Oh,
and
nice.
she's one of that.
So one of the first batch.
Yes, she's amazing. And we always saw the talent. We keep saying that we just make you the best version of who you already
You hone
are.
them. You hone them.
That's all. It's all within you. Confidence. Everything is like a muscle you need to practice. Practice and exercise. It's there within you. That's one. There's another one who was badly bullied in school. And she's a premature baby. But then when she grew up, the best thing for us was she's in one of the top schools in the country. Best thing was when she went into senior school and she was bullied by somebody who was double her size. Took him up to the principal, brought him up, got an action against him. Another person bullied is an entrepreneur today, works for animal welfare. Another person who did not know what sustainability was has started his own line of recycled books and pens. The list is endless. I don't know. Every time I look, there's another child who is a child of a house help, who had no confidence, or rather looked at himself from a place of dearth, as if I don't have anything.
The resource,
Today, he's preparing to go to Australia because he made a friend in the workshop. He was all of 16 when he was in my workshop. He made a friend in the workshop who's a child of one of the ambassadors. And they're helping him to go to Australia to study or something. Imagine that.
You are creating, I think, a community and platform where everyone come together to help each other.
Yes.
I can see tears in your eyes,
Yes,
and
this is
what is your why got answered when you asked yourself the question. I would like you to tell my audience, our listeners, how they can reach out to blah 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 and how they can enroll their kids in blah blah blah.
Oh, fantastic. You could reach out to us on our Instagram, that's the easiest, at try blah blah blah, TRY B.L.A.H B.L.A.H B.L.A.H. You have forms there which you can fill up and register with us. Somebody in the team will get in touch with you. You'll receive an email, and our numbers are there as well. You can give us a call. I can leave my number here. If it's somebody in the UAE, it's 050-5599-189. But other than that, the best is on my Instagram. We've got a lot of forms. You can fill it up and we'll get in touch.
Thank you so much. And I think you are doing wonderful in developing our young generation, which is a great responsibility. And kudos to you for bringing. And I think this is one of the steps that we must take as a parent too, to educate them on life skills. So any parenting tip that you want to share, because school's one side and institutions like blah, blah, blah is another side, but another important pillar is parent. So any parenting tips?
I work with parents and children also. Once we do this with children, the reason I work with parents and children, like you rightly said, we are with them for a while.
Yeah.
But somebody who takes it forward and hones that further are the parents, right? So a very important thing for parents is to spend 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes. It's a love language. It's called quality time. But the way it works is like magic. And this is a tip I give every parent.
So 10 minutes a day.
Only. And parents are pretty busy. And I absolutely acknowledge and appreciate and understand that. However, 10 minutes a day, devoid of any distractions. What I mean by that is your phones, everything sits out of the room. Just walk in, keep an alarm if you need to. Just go for 10 minutes in your child's room. And if you have 2 children, please don't go with both the children together. It's supposed to be one-on-one.
One-on-one.
Because they say that 10 hours spent with 2 children is equivalent to 10 minutes spent with 1 child. So one-on-one, but while you go there, don't go and barrage them with questions like, how was your day? Did you eat your tiffin? What did you do today? Go in there and just probably talk about yourself. Say that this is how my day was. And I need your advice. And I had a tough day. Forget how their day was. Just start talking about yourself. Either tell them how your day was, ask them for advice. Either talk to them about the mistakes you've made in your childhood.
Okay.
Talk to them about how you have failed. Children all put their parents on a pedestal, whether they show it or not. As cool as they act, they've all put their parents right up there. And half the time, they're trying to impress those parents who don't need to be impressed.
Yes.
However, they're trying to impress those parents. They're trying to live up to those expectations.
Which parents have set.
Yes. So you know what? Just walk in there and just do these things. Say that these are the mistakes I made. I tried to climb a tree, I fell down in my childhood, or I tried to cycle, and this is what happened. They start seeing you as more human. Apart from that, what happens because of this is, because you're talking about you, they start now seeing that my parent is sharing something so secretive with me, which means they're trusting me with important information, and they're asking me for advice, which means my opinion matters. And if my opinion matters to my parent, who's the most important person for me, my opinion should matter to the outside world.
Okay.
And there will be two things out of this. When they have something more important and secretive, they will start returning the favor. They'll start sharing it with you. Apart from that, they will feel very comfortable voicing their opinion out in wherever they are. And you will see their confidence grow step by step. And I've seen this happen.
It's really great and such a good correlation, right? Like when you start sharing and become vulnerable to your kids, they also feel that confident whenever they are going through. They will come back to you and they'll share. So 10-minute rule, number one.
Yes.
And second thing is like parents should go and tell them how was their day. And third is asking their opinion.
Yes.
So that's how you have came up with I matter, you matter, and
nature matters.
Nature mattered. So 3 very brilliant pillars of your blah, blah, blah. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so like I said, all the life skills that I've been talking about, they come under these 3 pillars. And this is the end takeaway. I matter means I can do anything I set my mind to. I mean something. Self-love is not being selfish. Please, let's take that feeling off. You've got to indulge in self-love. You've got to fill your cup before I can pour into somebody else's
Exactly.
cup. So I matter. You don't need to fear judgment. You can stand anywhere and speak because your opinion matters. You matter means anybody from any part of the world matters and should be respected. The CEO of your company should be equally respected as your office boy or the one who's giving you your cup of coffee. Respect is not conditional.
Correct.
And that's the reason we bring children from different parts of the world. It's an online platform, right? You're interacting with other people and they realize what respect is in action. And the third one is nature matters. Like I said before, sustainability is no longer a trend. It is a need of the hour. It is not the job of the UN.
And
or the
it's
government.
everyone's job.
It's your job. And that is why, even in our workshops, there are a lot of sustainable experiments. We do not buy anything new for any of our workshops. Everything is taken from your house and reused and recycled and created into something.
So you follow 3 R's concept in your
Absolutely.
workshop itself.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And what about the kids when they leave your workshop? How they stay connected? Like the example that you give, your house elf kid, right, who is going to Australia, and it's a lifelong bonding that they're building. So how they stay connected post your workshop?
So after they do the short-term workshops, which are like the 6-day workshops, they also have an option of the long-term ones. Like I said, somebody was with me for 2 years, right? So I meet them once a week. The teachers or the facilitators meet them once a week, so that every week they're learning a life skill and they're practicing. And that is why building life's attainable habits. Blah, that I said, because only when you practice that life skill will it become a habit, right?
Correct.
So that's why they are with us for a long time. There are 99 such life skills. So they're with us, they could be with us for 3 or more years. Apart from that, we say that once you have stepped into the blah, blah, blah family, you are just a part of our family. Our lines are open 24/7. So anytime you have a question, feel free.
And they can come back.
Yes, they do. They come back for one-on-ones. I have Zoom connects with I'm in so many Zoom groups. Sometimes somebody is just having a tough day. She says, ma'am, do you have 10 minutes? I have a question. I need an answer. We quickly get on a Zoom call and we have discussions. So,
It's so overwhelming, right? And you have 140 workshop already done. And I think how many kids you have already onboarded?
375 plus.
So 375 plus, and if you start interacting with 1 or 2 kids also per day, it's so overwhelming, right? So how do you manage your work-life balance? And as they say, for every action you have opposite and equal reaction, right? So how do you take all this responsibility on your shoulder and you manage yourself?
So it's not only me and my co-founder, we also have other people in the team. But apart from that, what I want to say is, I can't say that I have it all well put together. I have made my mistakes. There's a time I haven't met the work-life balance. But when you don't do that, we all know that there is an impact on your physical and your mental health. And that does happen. You do feel the burnout. But then I think the switch happened for me when I started listening. I started listening to my body, which was probably screaming out for help.
Most important.
Yes.
Yeah.
I started listening to the people around me, which are my children, my parents, my in-laws. The moment I listen, a third person starts telling you that I think you're taking it a bit too far, you need to take a break. And I started doing those things.
You started acknowledging
it and acting on those, and I started taking my breaks. And then I think, because we all know our priorities, right? And
Correct.
that's when it's only that we don't follow them sometimes. But when you listen, and that's why God has given you a community of people to tell you when you're not listening to yourself. So that's what I started doing, and that's when I started taking breaks, and that's when I started figuring out these are the people who matter. So when it's a hard stop, it's a hard stop. And otherwise, so when you keep your time, it's so interesting that when you time yourself, you will be way more productive than when you just go with the flow.
Correct.
So it's a matter of just reprioritizing, putting your time in order, and it starts working.
And that's how you see quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
And with 17 years of experience in marketing and with having a wealth of knowledge in marketing, any marketing tip that you want to share with our listeners who are entrepreneurs? Because everyone goes with the say that, or else I'll say that everyone has a perception that marketing is costly. So as an entrepreneur where every penny matters, what is one tip that you want to give?
I think for every marketer, right from the time when I was a marketer who had lots of money, and in a slang word they say, you have a lot of money to play with, you know, right from the time then till the time as an entrepreneur where you have a set budget. I think a very important thing for a marketer is to make every penny count, like you said, which means ROI. Your return on investment is super important. Yes, marketing can be seen as a cost center, and it's seen at a number of places, but I always look at it as something that will give you returns. So the most important thing is for any entrepreneur is, one, you need to, as a marketer, figure out customer insights. Please stop being a person who is pushing a product down a customer's throat. It does not work.
Rather, it has to be pull.
Pull strategy.
Yeah.
Not a push strategy, a pull strategy. Every product will have a customer. You need to find that need, which means research, analyze, figure out. Everybody gives you answers. They say in Hindi, ढूंढने से तो भगवान भी मिलता है.
Find your niche.
All you need to know is, find your niche. Niche search. You can have 10 companies who are having this table, but probably this is the only company who's like a hexagon and has a sturdy piece, or makes products which are sustainable. You will find a niche. Find that niche. Find that need. Provide to that customer's need. So customer insights are number one for any entrepreneur, any marketer. I think the other thing is, don't feel that everything is expensive. There are so many cost-effective ways to work with your marketing. Research them, find them, use your own media. We make a big mistake of figuring out, there are 3 kinds of media we say, right? Your own media, your paid media, and your earned media. Use your own media and your earned media. Paid media, you can go later on. Let these 2 work hard first.
Correct.
Then you go to the third step.
So take small steps and own your personal brand and your earned brand, whatever you have earned, and then last is the paid brand.
Yes, and be consistent. Be out there. Be seen. Because the moment you're not seen, if you're every time behind that board or any other place, you won't be seen, and then you can't blame your audience for not seeing you.
Yeah, and being a marketer actually give you that edge to promote blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely, it did, yes. Because as a marketer, I think I was also a bit harsh on myself. So I wouldn't go with mediocrity. I wanted something to be good in terms of something to... I think for me, relatability and authenticity matter a lot. A part of you should be seen in the brand.
Correct.
A part of you and a part of the customer. So you know what? That's a true marriage. I've always believed in it. Any campaign that has worked for me has been a campaign which has probably worked for the customer, and the customer has felt it in his heart. It's an emotion. That's why we've got a brain. I always say, and my co-founder keeps laughing. She said, "You always say, right? You have a head and a heart for a reason.
Correct.
Both need to be used when it's the right time."
And it is so relatable, right? If customers cannot relate to you in the brand, then definitely not. And when you mentioned you were very harsh, that means you started counting ROI from the day one?
Not really. I'll tell you, harsh in terms of, I started working on perfecting things at that
Okay.
point, okay? Started thinking that, this has to be really good for the customer. I don't want to give a half-baked product. But then also I got a piece of advice from someone I did not know, but who's a very famous entrepreneur. She said to me that, start. Your customer will tell you where to go. And
Exactly.
I took that piece of advice at that point because I didn't know I would be an entrepreneur, right? At that point, I was always a marketer. I took that leap of faith and I started listening to my customers and I started improving the brand. And I feel that's how I'm here.
And wonderful. And I think this is the concept and purpose of Reengineering podcast too. Like, let's re-engineer every day, look back what worked out, what didn't work out, and take the next move.
Absolutely.
If you wait for perfection, nothing will start. I think no one will be entrepreneur till now if
No.
they're waiting for perfection.
Not at all. And most important thing is to be adaptable.
Yeah.
Don't be so tied up to your brand that, I'm not going to change anything because this is perfect. Don't even believe that. So don't let it too loose and don't let it too tight. Be at a place that you're agile and you're adaptable.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all your valuable insights. I think you're doing wonderful in honing this beautiful young generation and also giving tips for marketing and CSR and sustainability. With that note, we will get into a very fun-loving game. Because you're a marketing expert, I have kept a rapid-fire marketing game for you. And all your answers will be helping our entrepreneurs, will be looking for marketing tips, all free of cost.
Let's go. Let me try.
So to all my listeners, please hear out for all the answers. It will definitely help you out if you're an entrepreneur or you are an aspiring entrepreneur and looking out for good marketing tips. Are you ready?
Sure. Let's go.
My first question, what's the most important social media platform for startups?
Instagram. Because you have startups of all ages. Like you can have somebody who's much older and you can have someone who's much younger. The entrepreneurs could be much older and younger. And Instagram, I think, is a platform that can work for any age to understand for themselves first and then to deploy.
So we'll go for Instagram.
That's right.
One word to describe the future of digital marketing.
Ever evolving. Always was, always is.
Okay, and
Ever
why so?
evolving. Because it's constantly changing. You need to be on it. And digital marketing today, tomorrow it'll be something else. So from the time I've seen it from 20 years, it's been evolving and it is ever evolving.
So we should be hands-on on what is the latest one.
All the time.
Okay.
You need to be hands-on.
A must-have tool for digital marketers.
Your brain, first of all, I would say. Because
Nice one, yeah.
You need to be in touch with what the customer wants, like I said before. But if you're talking about a tool that could be used in terms of creation, is that what you're saying? If that's what you're saying, then I think not only for digital marketers, I'm taking startups into consideration. It has to be your Canva, it has to be your CapCut, your InShot, and all of these tools. Keep them handy as digital marketers, because sometimes you don't always have to pay your agencies and make it very expensive. These are very cheap, cost-effective tools that you could use.
Very well said. Your favorite marketing campaign ever?
I don't know if the audience knows about this. This is a very old one. So I'll tell you one favorite campaign, which is mine, and one which is which the world knows. So Vodafone earlier was Orange. Okay. And I loved the campaign where the pug would follow the boy everywhere in the fields. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay.
The cutest pug. Yeah, wherever we go, we are there.
Yes, the line was, wherever you go, I will follow. So, but the point was, the psyche behind it was that at that point, the internet connection wasn't available everywhere, right? But Orange then, Vodafone, which was ex-Orange, made that claim that wherever you go, our internet connection will follow. And that's why it showed the pug. It's my favorite. They did a lot of other campaigns, but that walking through the fields and the water and everywhere was my favorite campaign because it was on point, I thought.
Amazing. I will never forget that pug. It's ages now, but we still remember
Got
the
it?
pug.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. My favorite campaign that I did was I launched when we launched Mirdiv City Center. I was in the core team, and I believe we did a lot of driving around because it was
The
the
community.
first center right there. Because we had to use the right amount of media, and we had a campaign which had a post-it, because a post-it is very personal, right? I'll send a message to you,
Yeah.
and on the post-it we had a big pin which and then said, "We are open, very open," and we put it on all the routes of Dubai where people would drive to the center, because we drove there like for a whole month, and we had a record footfall of 75,000 customers on day one because of that campaign alone. So that's
What
my
a number
favorite
and what a
campaign.
ROI. We are open, very,
Very
open.
open.
And
Yes.
what that very open stands for?
Okay.
To welcome?
It had a play. Yes, it had a play on words saying that we are we are open, very open. So come in. And the other thing was the way the mall was made had a lot of glass, so it had a seamless feeling of inside and outside. You know, so
Okay.
you could see the outdoors, indoors. It felt like you're just seamlessly going from inside to outside. So it gives a very open feeling rather than usual malls which were closed till then, right?
Closed, yeah.
So that's why we use that. But that was only for internal comms for us to know. But for otherwise, it was about its welcome.
But you
Come on
got
in.
75,000
Record
footfalls.
footfall on day one. It was in March 2010. I will not forget. Yes.
Clearly vivid, yeah. One piece of advice for new marketers.
One piece of advice for new marketers is get out there and start, number one, but listen to your customer. It's very important. Listen to your customer and provide them what they need. And after that, customer service beats everything. Whatever other marketing tools you do, remember, let your customer feel important. So create that customer service. That's my piece of advice.
Such a simple but such a strong message. Listen to your customers, which many people know about it but don't follow it, right? So wonderful listening to you, and thank you. And that's the end of the rapid fire. And thank you so much. Any last re-engineered message that you want to share with our listeners?
A last message is that it's never too late to start. It's never too late to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So at whatever time you feel you want to re-engineer yourself, re-engineer your life, re-engineer your career, go out there, because that's the time to start.
And just do it.
Yes, just do it.
Thank you, Charlotte, for bringing your lovely kids into the studio. And I think this is the way you manage your work-life balance. Welcome, welcome, kids.
Thank you.
And can you just a little bit introduce yourself?
My name is Gianna and I'm 14, and this is my brother Zidan and he's 8. So we think that B.L.A.H is an amazing place because they do a lot of good stuff, and this is stuff that we don't learn in school, especially about like EQ and stuff like that. So this is stuff that we're probably going to use in our daily lives when we grow up, and we're going to need when we get out of school. So I attend my mom's classes and my brother does too, and we thoroughly enjoy them.
Amazing. And how proud are you of your mom? Like, when you go to the classroom and you see so many kids across the globe, how proud you feel?
We feel very, very, very proud because she's done such an amazing thing, and she's managed to get so many people together, and she's managed to do so many different workshops. So we feel very, very happy that she's been able to, do what she wants.
And congratulations to you, and you are doing amazing, you both. One last message to your mom.
We want to say thank you, Mama, for all that you've done, and that even though you've worked so hard, you still managed to spend time with us, and we're very, very grateful for that.
She's a powerful mom, right? Super mom. Not only honing both of you, but raising kids and making them build their life skills across 13 countries. Yeah, and congratulations. Last message from the young one.
Yeah, one message I want to give my mom is don't stop trying, and thank you for what you have done.
What a strong message and what a beautiful message. So proud of you. So let's celebrate Mama's success by clapping. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. How we say blah, blah, blah in class? Let's start in a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Blah, 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 blah. Lovely. Thank you, Charlotte. It was pleasure having you, and your story is truly inspiring, and it's really a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. I've had a great time. This was really seamless and breezy. I enjoyed myself. Thanks for a beautiful morning.
Thank you for your thoughts. And to all my listeners listening to us, please stay tuned to listen to other Reengineered stories, and will be coming every week, Friday, 6:30 p.m. UAE time, with a beautiful, authentic Reengineered story. Until that time, keep re-engineering your life and career for better. Thank you.